Tonight, a film classic is translated for the Trojan stage.
Plus, an old competition gets a new opponent. Stay tuned for TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for September 25th, 2012. I'm Deatra Montgomery.
And I'm Judson Garner. Thanks for joining us this evening. Last night was the opening night of a production whose plot most people know as an Academy Award-winning movie. Bailey Majors shows us more.
Thursday night, Troy University's Department of Theater and Dance partnered with actors from Birmingham's Virginia Sanford Theater to take to the stage to perform a three-cast show of Driving Miss Daisy.
The play is about the friendship between a Jewish woman in the 40s and 50s in Atlanta, Georgia, and her chauffeur.
The play follows the story of an unlikely pair. Miss Daisy Wortham, an elderly woman whose son, played by Clay Boyce, takes away her car keys and driving privileges after a car accident, and Hoke, Daisy's personal driver, played by Troy's Quentin Cockrell.
It told a story of a friendship that you didn't think it would be likely to happen.
It's done in a light, humorous way. By the end of the play, they are best friends.
It's funny, and then it also has moments that are just really heart-wrenching, and it's just a great experience for everybody.
Troy's head of theater education faculty member Roy Hudson directed the three-cast show of Driving Miss Daisy, and one actor said she enjoyed being able to work with him.
He is a delightful director. He knows where he wants to go with his characters, and he very gently leads us there. And so the work is exciting.
Audience members and actors say they were excited for the play and were pleased with the performance.
Great cast, and I mean, the show, it touches you in a way, and it's really kind of heartwarming.
We have put so much energy and love and thought into this play, and I think it still has a very pertinent message today.
Bailey Majors, Troy TrojanVision News.
There is another showing of Driving Miss Daisy tonight at 7:30 in the Trojan Center Theater. Tickets are available in the Trojan Center box office.
So far this football season, Troy University has already seen extra competition associated with an in-state football matchup in the Battle of the Chefs with UAB. But tomorrow, Troy students get to be a part of a fun activity with a different competition building up to this weekend's South Alabama game that may help save lives. On Wednesday, Troy University's Student Government Association is renewing a bloody rivalry, only now it's with a new foe.
Well, our previous Blood Bowl was against Middle Tennessee State, but for the past few years they've kind of chickened out on us and not really participated, and we definitely want both schools to give blood as much as they can. So this year we have a new in-conference rival that is in-state, which is the University of South Alabama. So for the first year we will be having our Blood Bowl against the University of South Alabama.
The Blood Bowl took a year off after Middle Tennessee decided not to continue the competition, but with a new in-state rivalry forming with South Alabama, the SGA felt the Blood Bowl seemed right for a comeback.
We really would like to increase that rivalry. It's the first year that we've played them in football, and we really do want to make that as a rivalry and a larger rivalry than UAB, since they are an in-conference rival. So we've just decided to bring back the Blood Bowl because we feel like it is a really fun event. It's a competition on how many pints of blood can be raised through the student body. Troy has won the Blood Bowl for many years against Middle Tennessee, so we do expect that we will win again. South Alabama's never participated in a Blood Bowl, so that should make us want to win.
Even though the Blood Bowl is a competition between the two schools, Farrell hopes students will want to give blood for the sake of helping others.
You know, this year SJ really is trying to bring this new service initiative to the student government at Troy's campus. We really want people to understand that by donating blood, you're saving up to 3 lives for each pint of blood that's given, and we really want you to understand how important it is right now. This is an end of a month, and usually blood donations higher at the beginning of a month. People feel refreshed, so blood is very needed throughout the state of Alabama and the Southeast.
And even though helping those in need is the main goal, Farrell says it won't hurt to get a victory over Troy's new rival.
I'm definitely expecting a victory on Saturday, so I'd like to have a victory tomorrow as well. So Troy can not only win our first game against the University of South Alabama at their home field, but also win a Blood Bowl against them as well.
The SGA has a goal of 185 pints. To help them reach the goal, Trojan fans can give blood tomorrow from 10 to 5 in the Trojan Center ballrooms.
Students had a chance to pick up a memento of their time at Troy as yearbooks went on sale today in the Trojan Center.
A photo is worth 1,000 words.
That's a commonly used phrase that doesn't apply to a photo of something you see every day, but college does not last forever for most people, and having a yearbook is a way for students to hold on to a collegiate year forever. Today, Troy University's yearbook from last year went on sale, and it's safe to say that a lot of Troy's students don't even know that Troy has a yearbook.
Our circulation isn't very good because people don't know we have yearbooks. If
you're a student, you've already paid for most of a yearbook. Why not buy the rest? A great majority of the yearbook is paid for by students in their activity fee. This allows the book to be sold to students for a price that is surprising to most.
We're sitting there and people go, "How much is your yearbook?" And I'm like, $5. And they're like, "What?" Because they're used to their high school yearbooks costing like $70. But yeah, they need to know that they are paying for it.
And the Palladium strongly encourages all students to go out and get a yearbook of their own simply because you're probably in it.
A lot of campus life things, like things that happen on campus, homecoming, and just general crowd shots of people, and also a lot of portraits.
Other sections include construction on campus, Troy nightlife, and the musical Band Geeks. The yearbook is filled with things that are important to Troy University that students might just forget without a little reminder.
It's just like high school, except more important. I mean, I think it's worth documenting and having it.
Yearbooks will be sold in Barnes & Noble bookstore.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Tuskegee police are investigating a drive-by shooting that left five people wounded, including a high school freshman. They say a silver car drove into an apartment complex around 6 p.m. on Sunday. Within seconds, the driver armed with an assault rifle opened fire. All 5 victims were treated for non-life-threatening injuries and have been released.
In Opelika, authorities say an 11-year-old boy died after being found in a burning house. The Lee County Coroner's Office said Opelika firefighters found 11-year-old Nicholas Jordan Dennison in a back bedroom of a house Monday night. He was taken by ambulance to East Alabama Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Authorities say 2 other siblings were also in the residence but were able to get out. The cause of the blaze is under investigation.
And in Mobile, police in Mobile say they have confiscated up to $9.6 million worth of unfinished synthetic marijuana as part of an ongoing crackdown on drugs in the city. Police said 706 pounds of finished and unfinished synthetic marijuana was seized as part of a 4 search warrants around Mobile. Mobile Mayor Samuel Jones called the seizure one of the city's most significant.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan soccer team is coming off 2 straight conference losses. Justin McKinley will be in with that story and more in sports.
But first, Obama speaks to the United Nations about issues in the Middle East. We'll have that story and more after the break.
President Obama calls recent anti-American violence an assault on the ideals of the United Nations. I'm Randall Pinkston at the UN with the story coming up.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Deatra Montgomery at the Global News Desk. Deatra?
Thanks, Judson. President Obama and Republican presidential challenger Mitt Romney were both in New York today. Romney spent time with a powerful Democrat, while President Obama spoke at the United Nations. Randall Pinkston has the latest from the UN.
President Obama is urging fellow leaders to take a stand against violence in the Muslim world.
I do believe that it is the obligation of all leaders in all countries
to speak out forcefully against violence and extremism.
Speaking to the United Nations General Assembly, President Obama condemned the anti-Islam film sparking protests overseas, but said nothing justifies mindless violence. The president also had a message for Iran and its developing nuclear program.
Make no mistake, a nuclear-armed Iran is not a challenge that can be contained. It would threaten the elimination of Israel, the security of Gulf nations, and the stability of the global economy.
After the president's UN address, he headed across town to speak to former President Bill Clinton's gathering of global leaders.
That's where GOP presidential challenger Mitt Romney began his day, joking about the perks of an introduction from the popular former president.
If there's one thing we've learned in this election season, by the way, it is that a few words from Bill Clinton can do a man a lot of good.
Romney also took a political jab at President Obama, implying he has not done enough to confront foreign policy challenges in Libya, Egypt, and Iran.
We somehow feel that we're at the mercy of events rather than shaping events.
Romney then headed for the campaign trail in Ohio, where he's joining running mate Paul Ryan in a bus tour of the key battleground state. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, the United Nations.
An international charity group says children from war-torn Syria have witnessed horrific violence and torture. Save the Children is calling on world leaders meeting at the United Nations to stop the conflict. Monica Villamizar reports from London.
This amateur video posted online claims to show a firefight between rebels and the Syrian army in the city of Aleppo. Opposition troops say they also destroyed a military tank. The battle for control raged in the capital of Damascus, too. Several bombs exploded inside a school that President Bashar Assad's forces were reportedly using as a base to attack rebels. The conflict in Syria is a main topic at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is demanding global action to stop the war.
This is a serious and growing threat to international peace and security.
An international charity group is pressing the UN to put more monitors on the ground in Syria to document the violence. In this border refugee camp in neighboring Jordan, 12-year-old Ali is asking UN diplomats for help. He says, "My message to world leaders is that children are now homeless and losing their parents." The Save the Children charity says youngsters are traumatized for life after living through the devastation of civil war. Some, like Hassan, say they watched their relatives die during bombing raids. Other children say they were tortured.
Little children, only 10 years old, having their fingernails pulled out, even their fingers cut off. This is appalling, and it has to stop now.
Save the Children is counseling the young refugees. The group says if the international community is thinking about the future of Syria, it must start by helping the nation's youngest victims. Monica Villamizar, CBS News.
The American Academy of Pediatrics is advising parents not to use trampolines at home. Doctors say it's too dangerous, resulting in tens of thousands of injuries a year. Randall Pinkston reports from Springville, New Jersey.
Irina Spector takes her children's playtime seriously.
Careful, guys.
She bought a trampoline for her 3 kids, but made sure it was the safest one possible.
It is 8 feet in diameter, so it allows enough room from kid to kid for them to not be too close together.
But the American Academy of Pediatrics is recommending against trampolines at home.
They're unsafe. We see a high rate of fractures occurring as a result of using the trampoline recreationally.
In 2009, there were 98,000 trampoline injuries. Most of the problems occur when there are a bunch of jumpers at once, and it's usually the youngest children, 5 and under, who end up getting hurt.
Many injuries occur on the mat. The American Academy of Pediatrics says netting and pads provide little protection and do not significantly reduce the risk of serious injury.
Besides fractures, doctors also worry about head and neck injuries from somersaults and flips.
And those are the ones which really put people at risk for catastrophic injuries such as paralysis.
Doctors say if you still plan to use your trampoline, always have an adult present and only let one child jump at a time. Spector makes sure her children are supervised, but says there's no point in jumping solo.
It just won't be as fun. They enjoy it only when they have company.
She says as long as they are being watched and they are taught properly, it's a risk she's comfortable taking. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Springfield, New Jersey.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, like a guest who usually crashed the party, but this time got invited, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Judson.
Thank you, Deatra. And now Justin McNelly joins us for a look at sports. So, Justin, I understand that there's no Trojan athletics coming up for the next couple days.
That's right. No Trojan sports team will be in action until Friday, but we're still going to be talking about something that happened this past weekend, so I can do that here in sports. All right. How does the team respond from 2 heartbreaking losses in front of its home crowd? Most teams would fold up and just get down on themselves. However, the 2012 Trojan football team is not like most teams. They responded in a dominating way. The Trojans took control of a tight game against North Texas and went on to defeat the Mean Green 14-7. This was the first time in the past 2 games that the Trojan offense has been outgained by the opposing team. Troy finished the day with 382 yards of offense, while North Texas accumulated 422 yards. This makes 3 straight Trojan games that the winner has been outgained. Despite being winless at home, defensive end Tony Davis knows how important this road victory was for the Trojans.
Get a conference win on the road, after losing 2 straight at home, that's definitely big for our confidence. We came out and performed well, I thought early. We kind of have a couple slips, but I thought for the end of the most part of the game, we held on.
The Trojans are hoping to make it 3 straight road wins as they travel to Mobile this weekend for a matchup with the South Alabama Jaguars this Saturday at 2:30. And the Trojan soccer team is in the middle of another 4-game losing streak. Their 4th such losing streak in the past 5 years. The strange thing about these losing streaks, every time the Trojans have suffered one, FAU and FIU are 2 of the losses. After losses to conference foes FAU and FIU this past weekend, the Trojan soccer team fell to 5-6-1 on the season. This marks the first time since the 2008 season that the Trojans were unable to win their conference opener, and the first time since joining the Sun Belt that they had started a season 0-2 in conference play. Head coach Chris Bentley knows what his team is going to have to do to get back in the conference title hunt.
This season right now is about setting us up for the tournament and then seeing what we can do once we get in the tournament. So we just got to keep improving. If we focus on that, we'll be playing our best soccer come tournament time. And, a step further than that is once we get into the tournament, hopefully we'll be the best team there.
The Trojans look to swing momentum back in their favor and end their losing streak as they travel to Denton, Texas to play the Mean Green this Sunday at 1 o'clock. And coming off their first ever win against conference foe Middle Tennessee State, the Trojans hope to continue that momentum throughout the rest of the season. Now 10-7 on the year, the Trojans hope to make a splash in conference play heading into the conference tournament. Troy will play 4 of their next 6 matches at home, at which they are 1-1 on the year. Trojans' next match will take place in Sartain Hall as the Trojans will play host to FIU this Friday at 7 o'clock. And after finding themselves in 4th place after the second round of the ULM Fred Marks Invitational, the Trojan women's soccer team was unable to retain that momentum as they finished in 6th place. For the tournament, Sophia Bjortman led the way for the Trojans, shooting a 75 in the last round to finish the tournament at 6 over par. The Trojans were unable to repeat as tournament champions, and they hope to get back on the right track for the Courtyard Classic in Jacksonville, Florida, October 15th and 16th. So as you can see, Judson and Deatra, just a couple of losses this weekend for the Trojan teams. Maybe they can turn the momentum around coming up this weekend. And the big game, first time ever against South Alabama as a part of the Sun Belt Conference. Maybe we can go out and get a win then too.
Yeah, sort of a disappointing week last weekend, but we have this weekend coming up full of sports, so hopefully we can redeem ourselves.
I sure hope so.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Coming up on Trojan Vision Nightly News, we'll find out how you could sweat for a good cause.
But first, fall is surely here and showing. Will these cool temperatures and sunny skies stick around for the rest of the week, Bree?
Well, projections say that picture-perfect weather is here to stay. I'll have more coming up next in weather.
There's a lot more to somebody being successful in society than just their diploma. We're in the business of making well-rounded individuals.
They taught me so much more than skills. At Troy, they truly believe that one person can make a difference.
We want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. We're not trying to be all things to all people, but what we do very well.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Bree Sanders joins us for a look at weather.
Well, Bree, we have experienced some very picture-perfect weather, at least to me. Cool temperatures, sunny skies. What can we expect for the rest of the week?
Well, it seems as if those conditions will be remaining the same, except when we get into the weekend, they may cool down just a little bit, but I'll get more into that in just a moment. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. On campus, we see the sun is setting right over the graves. Very beautiful outside, so whether you're headed to class or headed home from work, you can definitely enjoy the view. Looking at our current conditions right now, we have sunny skies in our area. Temperatures at 83 degrees, dew points at 56 degrees, humidity is at 39%, barometers at 30.12 inches and steady. Winds are coming in from the south-southeast at about 10 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 90 degrees, a low of 53 degrees. There was no rain today. The sun rises at 6:34 a.m. and it should set at 7:06 p.m. Looking at our temperatures around the state, overall the state is experiencing some lower to mid 80-degree temperatures right now. Mobile coming in at 83, Huntsville at 79, Birmingham at 80, Montgomery with a high at 85, Troy at 83, and Phoenix City and Dothan both at 84. Looking at our temperatures around the southeast in our area, like I said earlier, we're in the lower 80-degree temperatures right now, and as we head throughout the rest of the southeast up into the Carolinas, those temperatures decrease significantly into about the mid-70s or so. Looking at our temperatures around the United States, here on the West Coast in the California area, we can see they're experiencing a mixture of temperatures right now. A little bit of 90s, a little bit of 60s, about a 30-degree difference right here, and as we head back towards the east, but still remain here in the west, those temperatures decrease about 30 degrees more as well. Current surface map here, they have a few high and low pressure systems here in the west. A lot of heavy to moderate rain systems in their area, probably another reason for those decrease in temperatures. Taking a closer look in our area, however, not so much. We do have a few light winds going on in our area. No rain, however. We have a few low pressure systems, a lot of cooler temperatures coming on in our area as we've seen over the past few days. Looking at our departure from normal, we've been about the same for the past few days. Not much difference in our weather. Picture perfect weather, like I said earlier, no rain. As we head into our precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours, it doesn't seem like our state should be experiencing any rain, but as we see the states to the south of us like Florida and to the north of us like certain parts of Tennessee will be experiencing significant amounts of rain. As we move into Wednesday, still no rain in our area, but we look towards the north of us and that rain does get a little bit heavier. And as we move into Thursday, still no rain in our area, but we see that rain trying to come down into Tennessee. And on Friday, that rain covers the state of Tennessee as a whole. Still doesn't touch us just yet. But as we move into Saturday, that rain kind of starts to come from the west side of our state as well. We still shouldn't be seeing too much, about a 10% chance of rain or so. So nothing too much to worry about there. As we take a look at tonight's forecast, we have mainly clear skies, light and variable winds coming in from the east-southeast at about 3 miles per hour with a low of 59 degrees. So tonight will be much like last night, a little bit warmer. Last night was very cool, very breezy, but tonight the temperature does go up to about 59 versus the 53 degrees it was last night. So you shouldn't have too much to worry about there. For tomorrow's forecast, we have mainly sunny skies, high UV index winds coming in from the east-southeast at about 6 miles per hour with a high of 89 degrees. So tomorrow will be much like today, a very picture-perfect day outside. Shouldn't be experiencing any rain in our area. It will be very warm, however, so maybe those fall temperatures aren't here to stay just yet. Be on the lookout for that. Moving into our 4-day forecast, like I said earlier, as we move into tomorrow, that high gets to about 89 degrees with a low of 63. On Thursday, that high gets right up to 90 degrees like it was today, very warm in our area. Low gets to about 64 degrees. On Friday, the high gets to about 88 degrees with a low of 65. And on Saturday, that low jumps down all the way to 82, almost a 10-degree difference than what we've been seeing lately. And we also have cloudy skies in our area. So, Deatra, we have had those picture-perfect conditions in our area, and it looks like they will remain the same until we get to about Saturday. The temperatures decrease just a little bit, but nothing too much to worry about there.
Okay, well, that sounds fantastic. Thank you so much, Bree.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Bree.